Hey everybody, I hope everyone is doing well and had a good day. This video is a sample of what my membership videos are like, and you can join the membership from the homepage of my channel or under any video next to my name. I had experiences between yesterday and today that were too valuable not to share with everyone, and I haven't posted a membership video publicly in a while as a sample, so I thought this was a good opportunity. In this video, I'm going to cover the following topics. I'll begin by sharing my current trading system. I'm going to discuss the 4 types of trades that exist for systematic traders. Next, I will review the trades I took yesterday, Tuesday, September 2nd, 2025, and go through the mistakes I made, my biggest takeaways, and the process I followed to learn and grow. Then I'll talk a little bit about psychology, including ideas mostly from the You Were Born Rich seminar from Bob Proctor, Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich, and Maxwell Maltz's Psycho-Cybernetics. And finally, I will review the trades I took today, Wednesday, September 3rd, 2025. You can find links to all the resources mentioned in the video in the description below. This slide demonstrates my trading system, and this is the flowchart that I am constantly going through, and yes, it is incredibly simple. As you can see, it's not a very complicated presentation of the ideas, it's just what they currently are as they currently stand. So there are 3 main parts to my system, and they are a chart reading system to quantify context, or in other words, identify whether the market is in a trend or a trading range, a leg counting system to quantify the market cycle, which I mostly do through counting spike breaks, and you can see more on that in my leg counting video, and a breakout indicator that tells me there's a signal and there's a decision to be made. I use Ali's breakout paint bar indicator, but you can think of any trend bar that is breaking out and closing near its high or low as a signal. If you are interested in using the paint bar, you can visit Ali's website, quantsystems.ca, which is in the description. And if you purchase his research white paper on breakouts, the paint bar indicator is included with that. Also, if you don't want to buy the indicator and you don't know how to code, you can see the video I made on coding using AI, and you can create your own breakouts indicator with no coding experience. I ultimately had to do this for my own trading platform because I do have the breakouts paint bar for TradeStation, but I don't trade on TradeStation, and I could not simply convert the code from Easy Language, which is the code language for TradeStation, into ThinkScript, which is the coding language that is compatible with my trading platform. So I had to do it with the help of AI by explaining exactly what I wanted the code to do. And that was good practice for better understanding what the code is showing you, and you get more out of it that way than by simply taking it and using it. As you can see, my system for identifying context is quite simple, and I learned this from Brad Wolf. If there are 15-ish bars above or below the moving average, then the market is in a trend, and if not, then the market's in a trading range. My signal generator, like I said, is breakouts. Every breakout bar with an IBS filter is a signal, and I'll make a separate video on IBS, but for now, IBS is simply a way to measure the strength of a bar based on its close position relative to the range and direction of the bar. Many of you may know that I spent some time doing my research on 3-bar microchannels, and what I learned from doing that is market behavior based around breakouts. I also better understand that a 3-bar microchannel is simply a signal, and on a higher time frame chart, that 3-bar microchannel is simply a 1-bar breakout. And a 1-bar breakout might be a 3-bar microchannel on the lower time frame chart. This means that the information I gathered from my 3-bar microchannel study can be applied to any breakout signal. Price action is fractal, and the manifestation of the signal is not what's important, but the context is what really counts. I am now doing another level 2 study where I'm collecting all breakout signals that the paint bar paints, but more on that in a future video. With every signal, there's a decision to make, and I can take the breakout, fade the breakout, or wait. And my decisions on what to do came naturally to me with what just made logical sense, but my research also backs them up, and they are the following guidelines. If the market is in a trend, ignore leg count in the direction of the major trend and take all with trend breakout signals. In a bull trend, buy the close. In a bear trend, sell the close. Use a 1R stop and a 1R target. Also, if the market is in a trend, fade all late leg counter trend signals. Enter on the close of the bar and use a 1R stop and 1R target. You'll see examples of those today from today's trade review. If the market is in a trading range, leg count is very important. In a trading range, take all leg 1 signals. Fade all late leg signals in the lower or upper third at support or resistance. Use a 1R stop and a 1R target. Overall, I know that's a little vague, but the system is not really the focus of this video, and that summarizes what I've been doing, and it's demonstrated on the charts later in the video, like I said. And then self-image. This is a psychological part of the trading system that I will get more into later in the video. The main point on this is this bottom part right here. It's kind of the focus of the video. You must understand and act on the new idea, regardless of how much your old program wants to hold you back. So that's a really meaningful line to me that I'll go deeper into later in the video. Before I review the trades, I want to go over this really quickly. This is just a reminder of the types of trades for systematic traders. And this idea comes from psychologist, trader, and performance coach, Dr. Andrew Menaker. And I've never really gone very deep into the psychological side of trading specifically, because I agree with what Brad has said about it, which is that most of the psychological problems I've faced are a result of ignorance, and they can be solved by studying and understanding price action more. However, I will say that I know someone who went through Systems Academy with me, who worked personally with Dr. Menaker, and he had nothing but good things to say about the experience. And he shared this idea of the 4 types of trades with us in our class, and it's continued to help me since. The 4 types of trades are as follows. Type 1, you followed the process and made money. Type 2, you followed the process and lost money. The goal is to only take type 1 and type 2 signals. or trades. Type 3, you did not follow the process and you lost money. And type 4, you did not follow the process and you made money. If you are interested in learning more from Dr. Menaker, I put a link in the description to his website that will take you to a blog where he explains the 4 types of trades here. So this is my trade review for yesterday, Tuesday, September 2nd, 2025. Overall, on the day, I took 2 trades, 1 winner, 1 loser. I ended the day at minus half an R, and I took 1 type 1 trade and 1 type 2 trade. This was the first trade that I took, and if we go through my flow chart for my system, market is clearly in a bear trend, so I ignore leg count in the direction of the trend. So bar 1 is a bear breakout signal in the direction of the trend, which is a signal for me to sell the close. I can also have the option to enter on a pullback. And you can see bar 4 came close to my original entry price at the close of bar 1. This is the SPY, so missed it by 5 cents. And that's the original entry price. So I did have the opportunity to exit at the average entry price between the close of 1 and the 50% pullback around here, but I did not take it. That would have allowed me to exit the trade with 0R, but I took the 1.5R stop, or the 1.5R loss, when my stop was run above bar 1. The second trade that I took today, so we're still in a bear trend, and we have the signal bar 14, bear breakout in the direction of the trend, sell the close, and go for 1R. So that's the type 1 trade. The previous one was the type 2 trade. Now this is the main problem with my day yesterday. According to the system, a bear trend is when there are 15-ish consecutive bars closing below the moving average. For whatever reason, I did not trust this, so I did not take any of these signals. All of the signals that I'm pointing to with the red arrow are sell the close signals that I passed on. These are all systematic trades that the system tells me to sell the close of every one of these bars with the arrow, but I passed on every single one of them. Now, one reason there was confusion, you can see on the Globex chart, the market crossed the moving average. On the RTH chart, we're still below, so there's confusion about that. But if I'm trading the RTH chart, there's no excuse. I should trade it like a trend. Like I said, every bear breakout signal is a sell to close signal, and I did not trust that it was a bear trend because of the rally on the open. Therefore, I treated it like a trading range, and I did not want to sell in the middle or lower third of the range. Again, as you can see, every single one of these signals, except for bar 26, would have reached their 1R target. And even 26 was a break-even exit, worst case scenario. So that was like a wake-up call to me that, hey, I had all these profitable system trades that I just did not take. So I want to get into the biggest takeaways from this. The biggest problem that I found from yesterday was that I was not willing to take type 1 and type 2 trades. I had trust issues with my system. So I passed on all of these trades that were type 1 or type 2 signals. The problem was not that I took type 3 or type 4 trades. Again, the problem is that I passed on type 1 and type 2 trades. Now, this is a new thought for me. I deviated from the system. So this is a new mental program or new belief that I'm working on. This gets into self-image. I'm a disciplined person, but I was masking my system deviation because I used to think up until yesterday that deviating from the system meant taking trades that were outside the bounds of the system, which means taking type 3 or type 4 trades. And they are, but there's another way to deviate from trading the system, and that is to not take trades that the system says to take, which are type 1 and type 2 trades, and to not take them for any reason. The fix is simple. Take all type 1 and type 2 trades, and I'm going to get deeper into this later. But the big mindset shift is that performance is judged based on my ability to execute on the system. It's not based on P&L or win rate. It's not, which are outcomes. It's not based on outcomes. Performance is based on my ability to execute on the process. Now, one thing that I added today was that I jot down reasons I don't want to take type 1 and type 2 trades, just very briefly in 1 to 5 words, but I still take the trade. And the idea with that is to journal when I feel the discomfort or whatever it is, and then go back and notice the ones that work and the ones that don't work, and what my feelings were before taking them. And in pretty much all of the cases, it's going to be some form of fear or worry or doubt or some kind of discomfort. So for beliefs, the idea here is that humans have the brain, nervous system, and the subconscious mind that basically make up the most powerful supercomputers in existence. We can literally program ourselves for success. So the overall idea here is that you can replace one idea with a new idea. X-type ideas are old conditioning, and Y-type ideas are new ideas that will improve the results in some area of your life. So you can see the first bullet, I said, Trader me is disciplined. And this is a fun little perspective that Brad taught me. He said, imagine yourself as multiple individuals. There's the CEO version of you, and there's the factory worker of you. Think about Elon Musk at Tesla and somebody on the assembly line. It's Elon's job to decide what to do and how to do it. It is not up to the factory worker to question that. The factory worker does what he's told, and he gets paid for doing the job. Similarly, there's the trader version of you, and there's the CEO version of you. And you can take it further, and there's also the system designer or the system builder. There's the research and development scientist version of you. You can go on and on. But the point is, the trader's job is to follow the process, and it doesn't matter what the outcome is. Imagine the system designer is on vacation or retired or something. When you're trading, you have the system, and your only job is to follow the standard operating procedures. Now, I've already mentioned that I see myself as a disciplined person. And I'm mentioning this not to brag, but because it's relevant to what I'm going to share about self-image. Because I see myself as a disciplined person, I will not deviate from my trading system. The key point is that the old conditioning was that it's okay to pass on type 1 and type 2 trades, and that the only form of system deviation is taking type 3 and 4 trades. The new idea that I programmed into my mind is that passing on type 1 and 2 trades is a form of system deviation. Since I am a disciplined person and I follow my system, I now take all system signals. You can see below the old attitude versus the new attitude. The old attitude, worried about outcome, thinking about P&L and win rate. New attitude, outcome, and P&L win rate is all irrelevant. The old attitude, I was rewarding negative behavior, thinking it's okay to pass on type 1 and type 2 signals. Now I reward positive behavior. And positive behavior is obedience. It's simply being the factory worker It's the ability to follow the system. That is what's rewarded. The old attitude was cherry picking system signals. The new attitude is take all of the system signals, take all type 1 and type 2 trades. My system is by no means perfect or in its final state, but I do think it's necessary to proceed in this way to at least gather information and experience and to learn and be able to improve how I'm trading. This slide shows Ray Dalio's 5-step process. I got this from Ray Dalio's book, Principles, and you can see it's demonstrated here really nicely in the diagram. The 5 steps: goals, problems, diagnosis, design, and doing. My goal is to be a systematic trader to trade the system. The problem is that I deviated from the system. Diagnosis: I used to not see passing on type 1 and 2 trades as deviation. And I was worried about P&L and win rate, which is why I was passing on those trades. But now I see that as system deviation. So the design is to convince myself to believe that P&L and win rate are irrelevant and to forget about them when I'm trading. And all that matters is following the system, to be process oriented and to take all type 1 and 2 signals that come. And doing, well, that's just execution. Practice makes perfect. I want to talk a little bit about how psychology ties into what I'm doing here. And the first thing I want to touch on is self-image. Everybody has a self-image. Everybody has an image of how they see themselves. My question to you is, how do you see yourself? Do you see yourself as a profitable trader, or are you a struggling trader? Are you a disciplined person, or do you find it hard to give yourself a command and then follow it? Are you someone who works smart, or are you someone that works hard? Napoleon Hill said right in his book, Think and Grow Rich, if you are one of those who believe that hard work and honesty alone will bring riches, perish the thought. It is not true. Riches, when they come in huge quantities, are never the result of hard work. Riches come, if they come at all, in response to definite demands based upon the application of definite principles and not by chance or luck. So that's what I mean by working smart versus working hard. And those are just a few ideas on self-image, but there's really no limit to where you can go with that. I also want to add one quick note. It's important to set goals, and it's vitally important to see yourself already in possession of your goal. So don't say, someday I will be, or someday I will do, someday I will have. Your goal must be thought of as being true in existence right now in the present tense. I'm going to get into this in a moment, but your cybernetic mechanism, the subconscious mind, has no understanding of the concept of time. Everything is always here and now. And this may feel unnatural at first, but I recommend you try it and stick with it. The next topic I want to cover is psycho-cybernetics. Psycho as in relating to the mind, and cybernetics as in the science of communication and automatic control in the biological organism and in some machines. Cybernetics works by using sensors to pick up deviation from a set goal and then automatically corrects course. That's a mouthful and maybe a little confusing. So here are 3 very simple examples of how cybernetic mechanisms work. I'm sure everyone is familiar with at least one of these examples and can understand what I'm about to say. And a couple of these are actually taken straight out of the seminar. The first example is the thermostat. So a thermostat is an example of a cybernetic mechanism. Let's say you live in the northern part of North America, and it's winter time, and you have a room set to 72 degrees Fahrenheit, and someone leaves the front door open, and it's cold outside. So the room quickly drops to 68 degrees. The thermostat, or the cybernetic mechanism in the thermostat, senses the deviation. The furnace kicks on, the fans are turned on, until that room is brought back to its goal temperature of 72 degrees, and then it cuts out. Or let's say you're flying from the JFK airport in New York to LAX in California. The pilot takes off, and once you're heading west, the pilot turns on the cybernetic mechanism, the automatic pilot, and the plane has a set goal to reach LAX. Somewhere along the way, the plane hits unexpected turbulence, and bang, the plane is knocked off course. Cybernetic mechanism picks up the deviation, the wings are adjusted, the engine thrust is changed, and pretty soon the plane is brought right back on course again. The third example, talk about a torpedo. A torpedo's guidance relies on a cybernetic mechanism. It's a cybernetic system that uses feedback loops to direct the weapon toward its target. If the torpedo falls off course, the sensors pick up that deviation, and the guidance system is adjusted, and the depth and duration are brought back on course, and the torpedo reaches its target. Why am I telling you all this? Because our subconscious mind is a cybernetic mechanism. We are not machines, but we have machines that if we learn how to use, we can do anything with. That's a belief I have as a result of studying these ideas for only about 18 months. So you can see I'm still fairly new to the ideas in the grand scheme, but I'm going to tell you they make a lot of sense, and they've improved the result in all areas of my life. And so I'm sharing them with you because I hope you use them to do the same. The last thing I want to touch on in this slide is mindset. Bob Proctor said, "Business is a game, and when we're winning, we're having fun, and when we're losing, we're learning." So I'm going to ask you to kick that idea around and realize that every day can be a positive day if you choose to make it one by shifting your perspective and changing your attitude. If you're anything like I was, you get upset with losing days and feel bad for a long time after. I know I was guilty of getting upset about losing trades and losing days in the past, and I would let it ruin my entire day. And what I wish I understood sooner is that losing trades and losing days are a gift because they are learning opportunities. And one thing I know that's true in this world is that everything has an opposite. That's the law of polarity. You can't have success without failure, and you can't have failure without success. Everything has an opposite. Trading is a zero-sum game. When you lose, someone else wins. When you win, someone else loses. The big shift that took place in my mindset almost instantly when I reflected on my trading day yesterday is that I can no longer let results control my thinking. If you let your present results control your thinking, then you're thinking in reverse. You're letting the results control your thoughts. Instead, build a positive idea in your mind, have a trading system, and stick to that idea and execute on it to the best of your ability. If you do that, and if you take all the type 1 and 2 trades, then it's a great day, and you get an A+ for that day, regardless of the day's win rate or whether or not you made money. Moving forward, my only goal every day is to follow the system, and if I follow the system, that's great, and if I deviate from the system, that's bad. The outcome, making or losing money, is irrelevant. Making money is a byproduct of trading well, and trading well is the result of following right rules and being aligned with natural laws. And I'll get into that more on the next slide. I'm going to mention once again that this video is just a glimpse at the books I've read and continue to read and the seminar that I've watched and continue to watch. I've been through the seminar probably 10 times, and I don't plan on stopping anytime soon, because spaced repetition is a law of education. It's how we truly understand and embed knowledge. That's why I keep watching the Brooks Trading course over and over. That's why I keep studying Ali's videos, PTM, over and over. And again, you can see the seminar and the books in the description below for more information on the subjects. I'm not going to go too deep into them in this video. So with all the psychological things mentioned, and with yesterday's trades reviewed, I want to share the trades that I took today and how I was able to use all of the ideas I've shared in this video to take action and improve upon what I'm doing. So this is my trade review for today, Wednesday, September 3rd, 2025. I took 4 trades today. All of the trades were winners, so I had a PL of 4R on the day. And again, it was all type 1 trades. The first trade I took, if we go through my system flowchart, we can see, first of all, context. We have 15 bars above the moving average, so the market is in a bull trend. Bar 6 is painted. It's a breakout signal, and it's a late leg counter to the direction of the trend. You can count legs a couple of different ways. Technically, it's a micro channel here, so you could say leg 1, bar 1, pullback, and then leg 2 down to 6. But also there's implied legs in here, so we sold off on 4, had a deep pullback on 5, another push down on 6. However you look at it, it's 2 or 3 pushes down, and 6 is a breakout signal. So according to my system, the action is to buy the close of 6 and fade the breakout, use a 1R stop and a 1R target. So I buy the close 6, put a stop here, and exit at the high of the bar. Second trade of the day, basically it's the same thing on bar 9. The market is still in a bull trend. It's more clearly 3 legs down on bar 9. And the action on the breakout signal is to fade it for 1R. So I buy the close of 9, put my stop, a measured move down of the bar, and my target is the high of the bar, and I exit that trade at 1R. The third trade of the day was bar 13, and let me back up. I wanted to mention bar 6. I did not feel comfortable while taking this trade. I know it looks great and it looks easy at the end of the day, but I remember noting that, like I said, when I don't feel comfortable taking a type 1 or type 2 trade, I'm going to jot down a note. And so I remember taking a note for this one. I did not particularly like buying the close of bar 6. However, I did like the trade here on bar 9, and what reminded me of that was bar 13. I did not feel very comfortable buying the close of bar 13, but it's still a bull trend, and when I have a breakout in the direction of the trend, I buy the close and go for a measured move target. So I take the breakout, go for 1R, my stop is at 1R, my target's at a 1R measured move. So that's another one where I did not feel comfortable, but I was able to execute on the system and take the trade. And finally, bar 15 was another signal, and I felt more comfortable about taking that one. Same thing, bull trend, breakout in the direction of the trend. I buy the close, use a 1R stop, 1R target, and exit at 1R. Very interestingly, bonus, the measured move, the 1R of bar 13, using the low of the bar to the close, projected up, and the low of 15 to the close, projected up, were exactly the same price, which ended up being the high of bar 17. And I was fortunate that my limit orders got filled on 17 because it was actually the high tick of the bar. If they had not gotten filled, if the market reached my target and actually reached the price but did not fill my orders, I would have just exited the trade at the market. Sometimes that'll happen. The market will touch your limit order to the tick, but not actually fill the order. So be aware of that. In this video, I shared my trading system as it currently is. I discussed the 4 types of systematic trades. I reviewed the trades I took yesterday, went over my mistakes, my biggest takeaways, and I showed how I turned failure into a plan for success. Next, I talked a little bit about psychology, using ideas from Napoleon Hill, Bob Proctor, Maxwell Maltz, and possibly even others from the seminar. And finally, I reviewed the trades that I took today, September 3rd, 2025. Again, this was just an idea of what some of my membership videos are like, but I thought the lessons were too good to keep private, so I decided to post this video publicly. I want to thank you for your attention. That's going to be it for this video, and I hope you have a great night.